Big news today, guys. Raid just dropped a new fusion, and it turns out that I was kind of right whenever I said let's save on that free to play because she's amazing, right? And I have so many 6 stars ready for champ training, everything ready, so much fusion prep. But today we're basically just going to go over the two fusions. This one, I believe, is confirmed with fusion, and then there's the other crazy one, her brother, her lover, whatever, who's Void, and he looks to be pretty crazy too, but he's more of like a nuker in the arena. So like, let's just look over what she does real quick. It's just gonna be a real quick video. So her A1 is attacks one enemy, books to 50. Sorry if this is like small. I can't really make the text too much bigger, really. I don't know why Raid has it so small, but anyways, so 50% chance of decreasing the cooldown of a random ally by 2 turns. So this is kind of a weird ability just because like if you tune your team, it could run into problems. Like if you want to run a white rail, which we'll get in later with her A2, why you would. It can kind of screw up the tune, so you gotta keep this in mind to see if like maybe you can just make it where it doesn't matter, like running a 2-1, or maybe you just make it so that you're guaranteed to always have your buffs and stuff at the end, kind of like what you do with like a relentless type of build. So this could be weird. It could mess up some speed tunes, but for like duo runs or triple runs where you just like run 2 different people, it could be good. It could be really, really good, right? Like you think Sand Devil, maybe she could be another Aneri type of person with her A3, which we'll get into, even though Aneri does have the self-revive, so probably not. But the A1 is really, really solid, but it can also be weird and kind of mess you up, and it like A1, so you can't disable it. But for the most part, I think it's a good ability. And if the cooldown is fully reset, heals by 10% of her HP. I'm pretty sure this is not part of the if the dude is on the team, but if he's on the same team and has any active skills, decreases cooldown of his skills. So the partner will have his skills automatically decreased, I'm pretty sure. And then if he has no active skills, then it decreases by 1 turn except her. So I think it's guaranteed if she has her partner, and then you either decrease the partner skills by 2, or you are guaranteed to decrease a random ally by 2. Now still, that can mess up speed tunes, so you have to be wary of how your buffs are landing, right? So we'll get into her A2 now. Removes all debuffs from all allies, so a full cleanse of every ability. So you want her in high resistance. None of this needs accuracy in her build, believe so. So just high resistance, high HP, which we'll get into right here, because it places a shield buff equal to 25% of her HP, right? So why this is really good. Early game, based on what I'm seeing, right, a lot of players can get miscreated up to like 70, 80. She probably has better stats than miscreated, but 70, 80,000 HP, a shield, 25% of that, 1/4 will be around 15, 20,000 extra HP on everybody. So if your Kel normally has 25k HP, you might as well have 40,000 HP with her on, and that is humongous for any early game. In the late game, it's pretty good for any white roll team. Like you think Valkyrie, I'm pretty sure has a bigger shield. Chris has a bigger shield, but still it'll be a humongous shield. And then shield plus 10%, I believe, is additive. So if it's 20,000, it'll be 22,000. I believe is how it works. I don't know the numbers. That's SAF stuff. Then if the dude is on the same team, places a strength in and feels turn meter by 10%, which is just like it goes from an insanely good skill to like an OP broken skill, which is basically how a lot of these partners go. Especially like you think Rotus and Sifri are like the OGs of this. But yeah, so it's like a really good skill. And now here's what I'm talking about. Like White Whale, you want your buff extender to go like pretty much right after this. So free to play, like your Valerie, increased duration of 1 buff, because this is not a protected buff, it will be increased. You think not Sepultura, Sandlast Survivor, you think the tree from Sylvan, Doiden or whatever, you think Godseeker Neri, right? Just somebody who extends a buff. Technically a Latreon on the A1, but it's kind of like not as consistent. Well, it's probably as consistent because it's a high chance and it's an A1, but like, you know, it's not a dedicated skill to extending the buffs. But yeah, Super solid for any wave clearing, any dungeon clearing, especially clan boss, especially in the early game, right? Just super solid. And then her A3 is just completely absurdly broken. Completely and absurdly broken, right? So let's see what it is. Revives a dead ally with 50% HP and 75% turn meter. That is really, really solid already on a 3-turn cooldown. 3-turn cooldown. Resets the cooldowns of the revived ally skills. Is completely broken. They're basically going to take the turn right after this revive. Fully resetted cooldowns, right? And like it's just going to be insane. It's going to enable your nuker to just nuke a lot more. We've already seen the skill just insane. Like she's a better in area, except she doesn't have the void stuff and she doesn't have the self revive. So like not exactly the same role, but this A3 in my opinion is better than what Inari brings with her same revive ability. Then if the target is her partner, revives them with 75% and 100% turn meter instead. And then after this, decreases turn meter by 10%. Wait. No, this is anybody. Anybody revived decreases turn meter by 10%. I didn't even notice that first time. That's insane. And then if it's a partner instead, it decreases by 20%. And it cannot be resisted. So you do need accuracy if you're not reviving the partner. If you are, you do not. Right? That's the thing to keep in mind. If you want that 10% removal, you need accuracy. If you have the partner, you want that 20%. Or if you're like, I don't care about the 10%, you do not need accuracy. Insane. Funny thing here is it doesn't talk about resetting the cooldown of the partner, but I am sure that he gets his cooldown reset. Her aura 19% on all battles, which is okay. That's more like an epic, like in High Katoon, I'm pretty sure. I know Lissandra is 24%, but she's also the speed queen. Whenever and her passive is okay. Enemy tries to place a fear, true fear, provoke, freeze, sleep, stun, or petrification. So like any of your CC. And the ally with the highest crit damage, so just your nuker. So this is why I say she's going to be insane for duo builds. Like this is just insane. Like her A1 combined with her A3 combined with this, your duo builds anywhere are going to be insane. Now Sandoval, like I said, I think Godseeker is still better because she has self-revive, and that's the one thing. But instead, so she gets a debuff instead, which is kind of weird. You just want the debuff to just not exist, but you would be building her with high resist, so if it's put on her, then she resists. Probably. Fills turn meter of this champion by 50% if she misses her turn due to this debuff. Crazy. And then if the partner's on the team, it just removes from herself. So she puts it on herself. If the partner's on the team, she removes it. The partner's not on the team and it's actually put on her because I believe it will be able to be resisted. I'm hoping so. Then she does gain some turn meter back at least. This would be hard to do clan boss because she takes a stun, right? She takes a stun. I don't know if I like this passive then because I wanted to use her for cleanse and then Valerie extends. So this, maybe she takes the stun and that could be bad because obviously she can't cleanse if she gets stunned. And then it would be kind of hard to speed tune because of the 50%. Like those are kind of hard, but it's doable for sure. But anyways, if there are multiple champions on the team with a skill, only one will activate it, of course. So I'm really hoping, well, it wouldn't even matter if she can resist it if it's the clan boss because you can't resist the stun. So the passive, honestly, I don't like it. Like I like it for everywhere else, duo, everything, but for clan boss specifically, I would much rather this not exist because you can't cleanse the stun now. That's kind of rude by playing. But I mean, it is what it is. I guess you gotta use block debuff scrub. But yeah, so the only problem I have with her, besides the passive being hard for clan boss but beautiful for everywhere else, don't get me wrong, is her A1. Like the random ally, like it just can screw up speed tunes. But all in all, I'd say she's probably like 7 or 8 out of 10. She has one of the best revives in the game, in my opinion. A single target revive at least. Just 75% turn meter and full cooldown reset is insane. Full cooldown reset is insane. So I really like this A2. The A3, I really like the A3. The A2, I do love. I just feel like, it's kind of there. It's on a 3-turn cooldown as well. It becomes one of the best. Shield and strengthen is insane if you have the partner. So it does become one of my favorite skills in the game, and a cleanse. But yeah, I think 8 out of 10 is fair, right? I think she'll help everywhere. Early game, she's obviously a 10 out of 10. Mid game, probably a 9 or 10 out of 10. Late game, end game, she probably falls off a little bit, but she still holds a lot of value, especially in night revs. She's probably one of the better supports in night revenants. But yeah, overall, like I said, 8 out of 10. And now we got the Void. I'm hearing he might be a champion training event. Probably not. Probably a guaranteed champion. I heard last year that they had an event, a summoning event, believe it was, a Card of Fates. And then they had one fusion. And then it changes year by year. One was a guaranteed. One was a champion training. One was an event. But he will be whatever that is. If it's a champion training event, we are going insanely hard. Even if we have to miss the other fusion, possibly. That tells you right off the bat how insane this dude can be. One, he's a Void Lego. Of course, he's crazy. He just has insane skills. He's literally Terrace 2.0, if not better. Now, granted, on the free-to-play, I probably can't get him, but let's just go into the skills. So, attacks one enemy, 4 books, 3 books, 3 books. So, 7, 10 books, not too much. 50% chance of randomly increasing the skill of a cooldown, and it cannot be resisted if his partner is on the same team. So here, I believe you also don't need any accuracy if you have the partner. For this, of course, you need accuracy if you do not have it. Kind of bad, but hey. AoE, ignore 25% defense. Already pretty solid. Now, he is an HP-based nuker, as I've said before. The problem with HP-based nukers is you cannot put increased HP. But if they hit hard enough, aka Taras, it doesn't matter because they just deal 200,000 damage to you. Even if you're the tankiest UDK ever. But this is crazy. Places an extra hit on targets under shield or strengthen buffs. And this will be crazier later, promise me. Damage inflicted by this skill cannot be decreased by enemy passive or masteries. Is really good, except by the passive skills of bosses. Whatever. Damage inflicted by this skill cannot be increased by passive or masteries either, except when attacking bosses. So actually, passive can increase them when attacking bosses. So clan boss, if he hits hard enough to be a clan boss champion, somebody like the Pharaoh Tree who does 20%, or Bad Owl who does more damage, etc., etc., I believe those work. I believe he can smack those bosses, but they won't have strengthen or shield, and it is an AoE, so it has a weaker multiplier, so it is what it is. But Spider? Maybe Spider, but they won't have this stuff. But I don't, probably not Spider either. But yeah, he does have that for bosses. I don't know how important that is. Then Spirits Claim You attacks one enemy 2 times, so not an AoE, but it's a single target, so it's probably going to smack super duper hard. The AoE probably smacks hard, but single targets just do more damage to one dude. Increases damage inflicted by 10% for each buff on the target and by 10% for each buff on him. So this is up to 100% damage increase if they have. And I'll tell you why this is insane later with the passive. This attack kills a target under 3 or more buffs, places a block revive. Only problem is he does not dodge, block damage, and unkillable. Only problem. Those can go past him, but everything else, it will be known right now why he's crazy. Grants an extra turn if it kills while the partner's on the field. Insanity. But the passive is where it all comes together, right? Up until now, you have 3-turn cooldown, 4-turn cooldown, and decent damage books at 20%. Probably deal a lot of damage. You have ignore defense, place extra hits on shield, and then you have 100% damage increase if you can get it up that high. Probably not, probably more like 50% will be the average, maybe even less. But still, that's a humongous gain. But it's Why do I care about 50% more damage if they have increased defense and strength and shields and everything? Well, this champion will receive 50% less damage when attacked by enemies. If Night Queen is on the same team, this champion will receive no damage out of the turn. So counterattack, ally attack, etc. And then I think this is without the partner on. Just having him. This champion's skills will also ignore shield and strength and buffs. Now it says, so it could be if the partner's on. Like it's not really easy to tell. Apparent, whatever, etc. But I believe this is just without the partner. And what this means is you get the benefits of them having shield and strength in. You get 25% ignore defense, double hitter, and 50% whatever more damage. But you get none of the negatives. They do not get any of the positives from strength and shields. It's like they don't exist. So like, let's say you have like a 50k shield on a 100k UDK and you're expecting them to hit like 60k. If you hit 60k per hit, 120k is not killing. But the thing is, he will negate the strength in, so he'll do 25% more damage anyways, which will be like 1/4, which would be like what, 150k anyways. Even if he had the shield, he's dead most likely. He ignores 25% of the target's defense, but like that's too hard for me to calculate. It is what it is. But then he ignores his shield. So it doesn't even matter if he deals more damage, because he ignores that shield that adds 50k HP. He ignores bolster. He ignores any shield. You don't even need a Medame or anybody to strip. Pause. You don't need anybody to strip. You just send this dude out and he just kills them. And this is both his skills. This is the AoE and it's this. Now the AoE doesn't have the 50% whatever increased damage, but you could just like A3 kill whoever the big bad is that could like really mess up all your plans. Duchess, Pythion, whoever. Kill them. And then you have the partner on the team. Maybe, I mean, she's not really good for arena, is she? Like, I don't know. Not really. But just have her on so he gets the extra turn. Kills everybody else with the AoE. And it's insane. And like, you need defense down weaken probably. And honestly, for this to have the additional damage, you probably do need to have them go first. But there is a way you can't, which would be something like Lydia, right? She's just insane. We all know that's 2 buffs, 20% extra damage, not as much, but it is what it is. Then you could do like Mausoleum Mage, maybe. Probably not. There's probably better endgame options, but like I don't really know. I don't really play. I haven't played an endgame account in like 3 years. Will this get past Stone Skin? No, there's no ignore Stone Skin. But it gets past Bolster. And so, you know, I say that's really good. And now if you have somebody who does not care about getting sheeped, they just strip the Stone Skin. He comes in and he just ruins everybody's day and he kills everybody. So what do I think about him? Probably 10 out of 10. He's probably game breaking. He's probably the next OP champion. It depends on multipliers. Like, they have to really, really suck, because double hitter ignores shield and strengthen, ignores 25% defense. It's just insane. And you cannot decrease the damage with passives. So he's just insane. And masteries, like there's masteries where the one dude takes the damage and everybody else takes less damage, stuff like that. Now I think Guardian sets whatever would work, but I don't think you run Guardians in Arena. It's mostly Bolster and Stone Skin, right? So if you have a way past Stone Skin, like he kills everybody, in my opinion. I don't really, unless he hits like a wet noodle. And increase ally HP in all battles by 33% is pretty decent, pretty good, right? I say he's probably a 10. Now, what I said before, whenever I said if on my free to play, I'd probably go with him over the other girl. No, I wouldn't. Just because he's a nuker. He's a hardcore nuker. He brings pretty much nothing besides nuker. Oh, I forgot about the block revive. But still. So for the free-to-play early game, I would definitely say go for the support. On my main account, I'd probably go for the support anyways, just because I really need a shield champion. Big, beefy shield. Really, like, it's underrated in Clan Boss. Like it will really help you survive like at least 5-10 turns longer, which could be 5 to 10 million more, which would be the difference between a 4 key and a 3 key, a 3 key and a 2 key, etc., etc. Right? Like the shield is huge, and it comes with a cleanse. Now, granted, like I said, the cleanse you can't really do that with a stun. I don't like she becomes your mandatory stun target, but you don't want that with the shield and the cleanse. So like the passive kind of is weird on her. Him, I would say probably a pretty easy 10 out of 10, just first glance. Now, all the other CCs will get their test server. I'll eventually get there, and when that comes, I'll be so happy. And I would honestly be able to have like the edge on like middle game content creators, because that's where my main is at right now. So it can just be like, how will this champion look on a mid game account, which I feel like a lot of people can't really do properly because they just have the crazy end game accounts, right? I am moving definitely into late game gear. Like I can 3-key Ultra Nightmare relatively easy, except for a Spirit Affinity. So like maybe kind of losing that edge, but I do feel like I could supply a different insight into mid game, and I don't know. Like I don't think most people emulate the end game gears. I think a lot of people are mid game. But if you're mid game, do you even waste resources on him, or do you just build up you guys? I don't know. You guys tell me. My final thoughts on these champions. I think they're both amazing, like I said, and I'm just so excited to get the Shield Lady on my free to play. Have a nice day. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, everything. Get me up. I love you, my fellow Shebas, etc., etc. I'm not shilling. I love you guys. This is not something I'm forced to say.